What's up, everyone? I'm Tamara. Welcome to Tam's Second Place. I'm an ENFJ, and ENFJs have introverted intuition. And the title of this video is ENFJ Knows. Does that resonate with you? Lately, as an ENFJ, I've been asking myself if my intuition is really accurate or if I'm just imagining that it is. And the smallest tests have been happening that could be nothings or somethings. Like recently, bad weather was in my area, and I was watching the weatherman for a few minutes and thought, his family is in the eye of the storm. But I ignored that thought. Someone called a few minutes later, and I said, the weatherman sure is sweating. He needs to take that suit jacket off. And she said, no, he's worried because he said his family is in the line of the storm. Then there was someone I knew in a different county, and they showed a tornado right on top of her town. I imagined her with her students getting them into shelter. I totally dismissed that thought and figured, so she's at home because it's too late in the day. When I checked on her later, she said, oh, everything turned out okay. I had to take my students and find shelter for them. I know those are really tiny examples, but if you pay attention, if you're an ENFJ, your intuition is working all of the time on even the tiniest and smallest of things. Intuition's sometimes a thing that ENFJs take for granted. I remember helping someone to set up a party. Maybe I can put the yellow tablecloth here and put the red one over there, and maybe I can take these flowers and put them here. I'm just going really slowly, and this lady came in and said, you're thinking too much, you're thinking too much. And she just started moving around, just doing things, putting things here, putting this decoration up there, just going. It's like her brain was in her hands. And for me, I don't work like that. I'm very slow. I'm not good with doing things under pressure like that, trying to make things look really pretty. But for her, that was a very natural skill. She thought with her hands. And so I think it's the same thing for ENFJs. It's your intuition is like walking, or similar to that lady, being able to use her hands very quickly and effectively and make beautiful things happen. So here's a question for you to think about. Do you think people would mistreat you if they knew that you were reading them and that you understood what was going on? Would they still do those things, or would it stop them? Does everyone understand the dynamics of what people are doing, or is it just an ENFJ thing? Sometimes I question things because they don't make logical sense. Do you ever question your intuition and what you're picking up on for the accuracy of it? Like, I'm just totally wrong. I think there have been some times when maybe I've been wrong, when my emotions were like over the top high. Maybe I was really, really upset about something, or too emotional. That's like the emotions could trump the intuition. Introverted intuition can be kind of powerful in a way. It's associated with a gut sense of conviction and certainty at a very deep level. You might have introverted intuition if you enjoy daydreaming, or you want to know what's behind the obvious. What is the facade? And you really enjoy abstract conversations where your mind gets to exercise and go deeper and uncover and figure out things. And you're very easily inspired. You like that feeling, and you really trust the unconscious world, whereas some types only trust what they can see or what they can hear. You trust what's not seen. Introverted intuition involves an almost paradoxical understanding of things around you, and sometimes it's hard to explain exactly how or why you know the things that you do. For some people, they may dream things that become true, but your gut instinct rarely fails you. It's what you believe. When I say ENFJ knows, I'm not talking about signs. I'm not talking about prophetic signs that you feel like God is speaking to you, because God does speak to you through signs. And I think you should pay attention to that. And you can develop a relationship with God in that way. Like, how is he speaking to me? What is he saying to me? Every aspect of our personalities are God-given. Even the 16 Myers-Briggs, I believe God created that. It's fun to discover what he made. So I'm talking about your innate God-given ability to predict or to know or to pick up on or to understand. Like, you know, somebody is trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or you know that this person is gonna act like this, or this person is gonna act like that, or you're picking up on someone's relationship and you're like, I'd be careful of that girl, or I'd be careful of that guy. I have had somebody in my life, for example, to kind of recently say to me several times, I don't know if you are manifesting things or if you are having hunches, because stuff you say comes true sometimes. And they get really irritated with me when it's something that's not so great. And I'm not all into that, like, oh my gosh, doom and gloom. It could just be something that I'm like, let's not do that because this, or this, that will happen. And then they get so angry with me if that thing happens. For me, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth, it just feels like common sense. But it's apparently not common sense to other people. It feels almost psychic, or like you're predicting something. It's not that hard. I mean, there are times when, as an ENFJ, I can dig deeper, or things come to me over time if I'm just kind of sitting still and things just start piecing together like that. But then there are other times when I'm not piecing anything together. It's just an automatic. There's been several things that have happened that have just come true, like a knowing. And it's almost like my sixth sense is getting stronger. I don't know if it's because I'm practicing it, or I'm making these videos and I'm always talking about it, or God is just heightening it. It seems like it's getting like there have been more opportunities for me to say something or think something, and it actually happens, or it's actually the truth. And it's usually just these fleeting thoughts that I'm not really paying attention to or grabbing onto, but I do think it, and then it happens. I'm not saying that all the time, and I'm not saying that as a magician. If you're getting too extreme, people who are schizophrenic, for example, I think there are some people who are psychic who are actually schizophrenic, and they've tapped into that. And I'm not saying that they don't have the ability to do some things accurately, but the truth is a lot of it, or some of it, is schizophrenia, or they may have borderline personality disorder and they're hallucinating sometimes. They're having all these auditory hallucinations and things like that. So I wouldn't want that level. No way, no thank you. These are just very light, kind of easy. There is a lane of a God connection that I will never fully talk about, that I feel, or that I've had probably most of my adult life. But I think that's separate, because I will feel like God is actually letting me know something, or to do something, or to act on something, or that kind of thing. It still feels separate from actual ENFJ intuition. I don't know if he's able to kind of work through me because I have ENFJ intuition already. So I would love to hear your experiences. Has there ever been something that you had a feeling about that actually came true, or even some smaller things in your daily life that you just have a knowing about? There are some things that I feel like are going to happen, and I think these things are going to happen from just a myriad of different things, my intuition, what God is telling me, combination of things. And the thing is these things have not happened yet. And it's not just about me, it's some things about other people. Some of it may not be so good. And so it's making me feel anxious. And I kind of don't know what to do really with my feelings that are associated with it. So I'm just curious to see, like, is what I'm feeling some mostly good things and some interesting things as well. Are those things gonna happen? And by the time they happen, will I remember that I thought that they were gonna happen? And if they do happen, I'm probably going to be shocked and surprised what I was picking up on or reading into. If they actually happened, wow, like this is really happened. Some of it is almost like faith. Like I think I talked about in one of my videos, or maybe I wrote about it, I don't know. Like when I got my house, it was like everything said no, but I actually heard God speak to me on it. And so I knew that I would get it, but no one else did. Because, I mean, even my real estate agent was like, no way, so you're not gonna get this. But I already knew because I heard God on the porch tell me that I would. And so that's the kind of thing that it's like you're exercising your faith, but then when it really does happen, it's so, like you almost have to put it out of your mind because it so doesn't make any sense, yet it happens. It's like a combination of a powerful feeling and wanting and needing to stay humble because you can't handle it. And especially if it's something that's not so good for someone, you can find yourself running from it, pushing away from it, and just not wanting to face or deal. I don't know what you do about stuff like that mentally. Like recently I felt like this lady had a miscarriage, and then I just put it out of my mind because of course you don't want something like that to be true. And so when I saw her, I said, hey, how's it going? And then I said, is everything okay? And just hoping that what I thought was true wasn't. And she said, well, the truth is actually I'm not okay. I had a miscarriage. And I'm like, oh my goodness. The only reason why I asked, are you okay? Because this is not somebody that's just like a friend or anything like that. It's an acquaintance kind of situation. Intuition is strange. The thing is I hadn't even seen her a few days prior when I thought that. I hadn't even seen her. So it wasn't like I was reading her face or looking at her mannerisms or like, oh, she looks downtrodden, or like, it wasn't that at all. I had already thought it like several days before. So intuition can be weird. Sometimes it works really weird. And it's not like you can do that all the time with everything, because you don't. Did everybody figure that out? Because it was easy for me to figure out, but did everyone else? Is your intuition wacky sometimes too? And by the way, if you want to read 2 books written by an ENFJ, myself, check out my books. Flip the Script on Love. It's a book about love, falling in love, healing from love, all of that from an ENFJ's perspective. And The Workplace NaRCISSiST, which is about difficult people. So check those out on Amazon by Tamara Zyon. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.